Thank you, Joshua. And good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. And it is a great joy to see you all here today. A very warm welcome to our persons in uniform. Our mission here at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Mary Jo Hennessy, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. And if you are a newcomer or a visitor to our congregation, please make sure you go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill. There you can find out more information about our congregation and sign up to receive our weekly email newsletter called The Beat, which arrives promptly on Wednesdays and provides all the information going on within our walls and outside of our walls. We are a very vibrant, energetic congregation. If you'd like to be, no, that's first service. Second service. Those of you who are in your jammies at home, still staying warm, we understand that today. Please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd love to hear from you as well, and a warm welcome. We welcome children of all ages to our service. For quiet play, we have a children's area right here in the sanctuary. For louder activities, we have the nursery just outside the corner entrance to the sanctuary, and we also have the comfort room accessible through the back hallway from which you can hear and see the service. And now a gentle reminder to all persons, let's turn off those phones, those electronic devices, turn that watch so you don't go looking at it, and let's just be here in person in this time together. Today's sermon is entitled, "The Branch Will Not Break." It will explore such questions as, how do we find what we are meant to do, both as individuals and as members of a religious community? And once we have found those things that are most important, how do we go about doing them with joy and courage and invite others to do the same? Our opening words were written by John Buhrens. Blessed are those who yearn for deepening more than escape, who are not afraid to grow in spirit. Blessed are those who take seriously the bonds of community, who regularly join in celebration and learning, who come as much to minister as to be ministered unto. Blessed are those who bring their children, who invite their friends to come along. Blessed are those who know that the church is often imperfect, yet rather than harbor feelings of anger or disappointment, bring their concerns and needs to the attention of church leaders. Blessed are those who, when asked to serve, do it gladly, who realize that change is brought about through our shared work, who do the work of committees and stay till the end. And blessed are those who know that the work of the church is the transformation of society, who have a vision of a beloved community transcending the present and who do not shrink from controversy, sacrifice, or change. Blessed are they indeed. And we now have some scout assistants in lighting our chalice.
Please join me in saying the words to light our chalice. We kindle our chalice as a reminder of the light. We create time as beloved community.
Good morning. Please rise and bow to your spirit to join in singing our opening hymn, Gather the Spirit.
Gather the Spirit, harvest apart, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, the trials in this
I liked children of all ages. That spoke to me. British military officer Robert Baden-Powell returned from his deployment to South Africa in 1907 to an industrial revolution in London. There, he noted an abundance of directionless youth whose parents were occupied working in the city's factories. He soon learned that many of these same kids were reading the military manual that he authored, which was meant for aspiring officers. Baden-Powell realized that he could adapt those ideas in his manual to help direct the focus and energy of those youth. Later that year, he launched an experimental camp for boys from different social backgrounds, teaching them practical skills and fostering character development through outdoor activities. This successful experiment led to the official launch of the Scouting movement in 1908. Its aims were to instill the values of citizenship, leadership, character, and fitness in young people. Today, the mission of Scouting America, which includes programs for youth of any gender, retains Baden-Powell's original goals to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes. Scout Troop 65 in Mount Lebanon, founded in 1942, has been conveying these core values to young people for over 8 decades. 3 years ago, 80 years after its establishment, Troop 65 found itself in need of a new charter organization. And that's when Sunnyhill stepped up to give us a home. In April of 2022, with a new, extremely engaged charter organization, that's you, Sunnyhill, the adult leadership of Troop 65 set a pair of bold goals: to build a brand new Cub Scout pack for all children aged 5 through 10, and to start a new female identifying troop for ages 11 to 18. In under 2 years, we met those goals. Sunnyhill's Cub Scout pack was chartered 18 months ago, and our female identifying troop chartered 1 year ago. This is a significant accomplishment and took the dedication of tireless volunteers working together for the goal of accessible and inclusive scouting here in Mount Lebanon. In their first year, both new units have seen growth, with our female troop doubling in size. This is happening at a time when many other troops are struggling. In our district alone, which is basically the South Hills and South, 3 units have folded, with another 2 on the brink. The district as a whole has about 1,000 scouts, which is about 10% less than we had last year. Our male identifying troop has maintained its size and is looking forward to a very large group of crossovers. These are 5th graders graduating from packs to troops. Many were from another pack led by Sunnyhillers John Pollock and Angela Joyce. The feedback that we've received from other parents of Cubs that have visited our meetings is that they like the way that our troop is run. It's scout-led with gentle guidance from the many adults that are engaged here with the youth. Our troops and our pack have a deep belief in the values of the scouting movement, which align very well with the values of Unitarian Universalism, as well as having a deep belief in the need for engaged and supportive guidance for today's youth. Scouting America is a program that includes males, females, non-binary, and transgender youth from kindergarten up to their 18th birthday. Troops and Pack 65 and Sunnyhill are giving the Scouts of Mount Lebanon a unified, seamless experience that provides safety and encourages them to grow, to face the challenges of adulthood, and to be the leaders in an uncertain future. Thank you for your continued faith and support, your faith and trust in scouting at Sunnyhill.
Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? Everything's fine? Excellent. Before I start with my presentation, I just wanted to relay to you, yesterday we had these leaders of the girl and boy troops out doing some training on their leadership skills. Did a great job. They're totally engaged, and they're going to get to run the program like it's supposed to be. So I want to thank the leaders that went out and did that, and appreciate the scouts that showed up to do that. All right. With me today is Josh Sirkowski. He's the unit commissioner for PAC 65.
That's right.
Okay. And he's going to help me with this presentation. I am pleased to be with you to recognize the great relationship that exists between Scouting America and the Unitarian Universalist Church of the South Hills, Sunnyhill. Scouting America exists primarily to serve the chartered organizations and their needs as they reach out to serve youth in the surrounding community. In recognition of this great relationship, I would like to call forward the chairman, committee members, unit leaders of Troop 65B, Troop 65G, and Cub Pack 65F. Would all the leaders come up here, please? Line up in front here. On Thursdays, when you drop your children off, your youth off, these are the people that take care of them, okay? Would the chartered organization representative, Gretchen Reese, please step forward? And you can stand right there, just like you did in the first service, okay? Okay. You have been appointed by the Unitarian Universalist Church, Sunnyhill, to represent its voice in the local council of Scouting America. You are a voting member of the Laurel Highlands Council and represent this congregation at the annual council meeting. In addition, you have the responsibility of coordinating the scout units that exist here, making sure that they work one with another to coordinate the natural progression program from the Cub Scout Pack to the Scouts BSA troops. Now, this is audience participation. Will all the members of the Unitarian Church of Sunnyhill, or South Hills, Sunnyhill, please stand? You have been introduced to the troop committee, the unit leadership, and the chartered organization representative who pledged their support in scouting the program here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of the South Hills, Sunnyhill. Will you, as the congregation, provide whenever called upon, assistance to help to make the program a vibrant living part of our youth outreach program? If so, answer, we will. We will. Excellent. Okay. With the congregation president, Rachel, you're okay, you came back for a second dose of this, huh? Please come forward. We have heard the pledge of the commitment of these members of this congregation and the unit leaders in supporting the Scouting America program as a major youth program here at Unitarian Universalist Church of the South Hills, Sunnyhill. With the acknowledgement of this support, I am pleased to present to you the unit charters signifying this church's right to use the scouting program for the year ahead and in a way that conforms with the rules and regulations of this church and those of Scouting America. On behalf of the National Council of Scouting America, I present your charters and pledge you the cooperation of the local scouting district, council, and the National Service Territory to help make this program a vibrant living part of the congregation and the community. You get to keep them this time. Thank you. You can all be seated.
All right, friends, good morning. It is our time for all ages. If there are any kiddos present that want to come up, we have a special treat today. All right. We have a guest doing our Time for All Ages today, so I'm going to introduce you to Wyatt. Some of our friends may find Wyatt pretty familiar because he's very active with our Cub Scouts as one of our helpers. But Wyatt is also one of the members of the Sunnyhill Youth Group, and he is a Life Scout with Troop 65, and we're going to do something special with Wyatt today.
Hello, Sunnyhill. I'm very glad that all of you guys came up. All of you guys in your Class A's, looking very nice, very nice. Alrighty, so I am here again. I'm a member of Troop 65. I am a Life Scout, and I have been in scouting for most of my life. Now, at the end of most of our meetings, it is generally traditional that we sing a song. And I think it would be fun to sing a song with all you guys. Do you guys agree with that? Think that'd be fun? Yes. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Jen. So, since we have all unanimously agreed that it would be fun to sing a song, we are going to sing a song, and by song I mean more of a chant. So, there's no melody, unfortunately, but it'll be great. Now, before we begin, there are 3 rules to singing songs. There is no hair pulling, that's not allowed. There's no screeching, it's also not permitted. And most importantly, not participating. It's very bad. So everybody in the back, I can hear you. So please sing along. So up here on the big screen, you can see our script for our song, and by song I mean chant. And there are some blanks that we're going to fill in, and it's going to be like a game of Mad Libs, right? So before each time through, I'm going to say a name, and that's going to be what we fill in, okay? It'll become very apparent very soon. So we're all going to start. And our first fill in the blank is going to be Lima. All right? We all ready? Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Jen. All right. Ready? My dog Lima likes to roam. One day Lima left her home. Lima came back so nice and clean. Where, oh, where has Lima been? Lima been, Lima been. Where, oh, where has Lima been? Lima been, Lima been. Where, oh, where has Lima been? My dog Pinto likes to roam. One day Pinto left her home. Pinto came back so nice and clean. Where, oh, where has Pinto been? Pinto been, Pinto been. Where, oh, where has Pinto been? Pinto been, Pinto been. Where, oh, where has Pinto been? My dog Green likes to roam. One day Green left her home. Green came back so nice and clean. Where, oh, where has Green been? Green been, Green been. Where, oh, where has Green been? Green been, Green been. Where, oh, where has Green been? My dog Garbanzo likes to roam. One day Garbanzo left their home. Garbanzo came back so nice and clean. Where, oh, where has Garbanzo been? Garbanzo been, Garbanzo been. Where, oh, where has Garbanzo been? Garbanzo been, Garbanzo been. Where, oh, where has Garbanzo been? My dog Coffee likes to roam. One day Coffee left their home. Coffee came back so nice and clean. Where, oh, where has Coffee been? Coffee been, Coffee been. Where, oh, where has Coffee been? Coffee been, Coffee been. Where, oh, where has Coffee been? Thank you.
All right, friends, it is time to head to our RE classes. Let's sing the kiddos out.
As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go, as you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with
This is a time in our service when we share joys and sorrows that have been submitted by members of the congregation. After each joy or sorrow that I read, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." A joy from Jeff Mazer. Jeff just celebrated his 23rd anniversary of his kidney transplant from his sister Jana. Both Jeff and Jana are doing well. To Jeff and family, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from Joe Shaughnessy. Joe says, "Happy 10th anniversary to Pat Murray and me. I love you, Pat." To Joe and Pat, we hold you in our hearts. A mixed joy and sorrow from Judy Spiegel. Judy says, "We're moving after 40 years of loving life in our now way too big house. My husband and I have decided to carpe diem and move to Friendship Village, a wonderful continuum of care retirement community in Upper St. Clair. It has all the usual amenities plus a large woodworking shop for Jeff. If all goes as we hope, we will sell our house and move sometime in April or early May." Judy says, "I don't think I've ever been as sad, excited, and overwhelmed as I am right now." To Judy and Jeff, we hold you in our hearts. Another mixed joy and sorrow from Will Page. His joy is, in his words, almost exactly a year after my 15-year career at Highmark was ended when they laid me off, I'm excited to say that I start a new job tomorrow, and I feel like it is really a good fit for me. My concern, while my new job is with a private company, it is dependent on a functioning federal government, particularly CMS, the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services. I probably don't need to explain my concern as we watch this administration upend vital institutions and end the careers of thousands of civil servants. To Will and all others who are affected, we hold you in our hearts. As we listen to our musical meditation, we invite anyone who feels moved to do so to come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and then return to your seats. Here, midway through a hard winter, in the middle of the longest, shortest month of the year, here in a time of toxic news cycles and political chaos, here in this moment of personal and social crises and challenges, we pause to recover a baseline awareness of who we are and what we are, to regain some kind of equilibrium amid the disequilibrium of our era, to remember that we are stronger together than we are alone, to sense the power we possess that is rooted in love rather than fear. We pause now to regain our equilibrium, to remember our strength, and to sense the power of our love. May we find our balance even as we sometimes fall. May we build upon our shared strengths, and may we always face fear with love. Amen. In trying times, I think that it's good to remember that everything is happening within a larger context that we may not always be able to recognize or see, that there are through lines that began long before us and will continue long after we are gone, and that the bad news we may hear each day does not define us or express the totality of who we are as a people. We need to remind ourselves that we do have agency and we do have power, and we need to remind ourselves that we are a part of something larger, something that is always accessible to us when we take time to return to a healthy awareness of this very moment. One of my favorite poems was written by James Wright. It's titled, "I Try to Waken and Greet the World Once Again," and it reads as follows. In a pine tree a few yards away from my windowsill, a brilliant blue jay is springing up and down on a branch. I laugh as I see him abandon himself to entire delight, for he knows as well as I do that the branch will not break. In his book, What the Robin Knows, John Young suggests that we can learn a lot about the natural world and about ourselves by studying what he calls the deep language of birds. By learning this language, Young contends that we can bring ourselves closer to a sense of deep connectedness with not just the birds, but with all of the natural world and with one another. As I read this book, I was struck by the number of parallels between what Young observed among birds in the world and what we often observe in our congregations and other communities. For example, Young identifies 5 different kinds of vocalizations among birds. They are songs, companion calls, territorial aggression, adolescent begging, and alarms. Young writes that in order to understand the somewhat out of the ordinary sounds that birds make, the warnings, alarms, mating calls, and so on, we must first know what their baseline sounds like. And for the most part, for birds, this baseline is singing. They make all the other sounds when it's appropriate to do so, but it is the song of the bird that is the sound they make just because that is who they are and because that is what they do. So I started wondering, what is our baseline as human beings? I can tell you that I do not think that our true baseline is the sound of televisions and cell phones. Those are things that often mask our baseline and keep us from both expressing and recognizing it. If you want some hint of what our human baseline sounds like, you might want to visit a playground or some other outdoor space where young children are gathered. There's a sing-song chatter among children, and this is their baseline. You hear something like this sound at coffee hour or fellowship time in our congregations, including our own, if they're doing well, but it's never quite as unfettered and free as it might be. So what is our baseline as we face each day, and how do we express it? Is it like the song of the birds? Is it like that blue jay hopping on the branch? Or is our baseline sometimes more like fear itself? Sometime after I'd made the decision to go to seminary, I received a number of used books from retired UU ministers who were trying to help me out. These were books I needed for classes and for preparation for my credentialing interview, in addition to a number of books that I really didn't need at all that are still gathering dust on the shelf in my office. Included among these books was Earl Morse Wilbur's 2-volume work, A History of Unitarianism in Transylvania, England, and America. Several generations of Unitarian Universalist ministers were forced to slog through this work, whether they wanted to or not. I described this book in a sermon that I gave this past summer, but to give you a little taste of just how dense Wilbur's prose was, I offer the following quote from the book. It has been noted in the previous chapter that though the leading thinkers of the Protestant Reformation at the outset showed a clear tendency to waver about including in the doctrinal system the dogmas with which they are most concerned, yet they were before long led by the force of circumstances to affirm them with the utmost positiveness. After reading this passage while I was in seminary, I sent the following message to a classmate. I think I could hear my brain cells' anguished cries as I read this passage. Going through this book was a real challenge, page after page of this dense prose that it usually took 2 or 3 readings just to make sense of. Inscribed on the first page of my copy of this volume by Earl Morse Wilbur was the name Donald A. Thompson, apparently the original owner of this book. Curious about who Thompson might have been, I did some research and found this information. Donald Alexander Thompson, 1906 to 1985, graduated from Tufts University in 1926 and Meadville Theological School in 1951. He was ordained to the Unitarian ministry in 1951 and the Universalist ministry in 1953. This was back before the merger. He served numerous parishes throughout the Midwest and South. While serving the first parish of Jackson, Mississippi, he was shot and seriously injured at his home in 1965. The shooting was attributed to his civil rights work. Donald Thompson was one of a relatively small number of UU ministers who served in pulpits in the Deep South during the civil rights era. His shooting was big news at the time that it happened back in 1965. Thompson had come to Jackson specifically to engage in a civil rights ministry. He integrated the congregation he served and was a founding member of Jackson's Coffee Fellowship, a weekly discussion group that brought together both black and white clergy and some lay people. He also served as secretary of the Mississippi Council on Human Relations. Because of his work, Thompson received death threats almost from his first day in Mississippi. Undeterred, he continued the work, and he made sure to include black members of his church in positions of leadership within the congregation, including the church's board of directors. After a board meeting in August of 1965, he gave a ride home to one of his black parishioners, Johnny Frazier. Frazier himself went on to become an ordained UU minister, and I'll share more of his story in another sermon soon. After Thompson had dropped Frazier off in the black neighborhood of this segregated town, he was followed home by several men driving a green sedan. They stopped behind him as he parked his car. As he made his way from the car to the back door of his apartment building, one of the men fired a shotgun, just missing Thompson. The second shotgun blast hit him square in the back. Thompson's left shoulder was shattered and his lung punctured. He was hospitalized for several weeks, suffering from a number of complications related to the shooting, including pneumonia. While Thompson was still in the hospital, he received a letter from the settlement director in the UUA Department of Ministry, who wrote asking whether, quote, "You think the time is now for you to move to a more comfortable situation or a different climate." He was trying to give Thompson a free pass to get out of Mississippi if he felt like he needed to. Thompson's reply was as follows: "Thank you for your offer of assistance in placement. If any of the Mississippi congregations feel that my presence is a danger to them, I'll take advantage of your offer. Otherwise, I feel that I ought to try to stay here." He said the Klan probably is quite upset because for once their execution didn't take. Maybe they'll do something about it. Yet, he said, one cannot live on the basis of fear. It takes courage in Jackson to join a liberal church. Yet I believe that my continuing after this shooting incident might attract some worthwhile members. I love a couple of things about that quote. The first is the humility that he expresses. He wants to stay in Jackson not to try to single-handedly bring down the Klan and defeat the forces of evil once and for all, but rather he wants to stay because he thinks he might attract a few new worthwhile members to the church. But also, Don Thompson identified a need to return people to a baseline that was not based in fear. He wanted to help them start to sing again. What I want us to remember today is that we need to find our own baseline, both as individuals and as members of the larger community. And once we've found it, to be unafraid to jump up and down, to sing, to dance, and to invite and encourage others to do the same. The powers that be may want us to stay overwhelmed and immobile, So it is especially important now to find our baseline and find ways to return to it again and again. And once that we've found our baseline, this authentic place of deep connectedness, I hope and pray that we will do what needs to be done, knowing, just as the blue jay from the poem knew, that the branch will not break. May it be so. Amen.
Please rise again and body your spirit to join in singing our closing hymn, Hush.
Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? It sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. It sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. It sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? It sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. It sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. It sounds like a justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? I'm so glad trouble don't last always. I'm so glad trouble don't last always. I'm so glad trouble don't last always. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do? Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush, hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? What shall I do?
Thank you. Please be seated.
It is time for our morning offering. Our Share of the Plate beneficiary for the month of February is the Pennsylvania Interfaith Impact Network, also known as PIN. PIN is a network of congregations and organizations in southwestern Pennsylvania committed to drawing together people of faith to act powerfully on local and regional issues of justice and fairness. Through the processes of community building, working with politicians and policymakers, direct action and negotiation, they strive to transform our communities. You can make a gift online on our website or by text at 412-324-3130. We'll be passing our offering baskets for cash and checks in just a moment. And if you are writing a check, please make it out to UUCSH and put "Share the Plate" in the memo line. And as always, thank you for your generosity. Intervention, help us extinguish our chalice.
Please join me in saying the words to extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of the community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Just a quick announcement before our scouts close things out. Wanted to remind folks that Sunnyhill's biggest fundraiser, our annual auction, is coming up on April 12th. The theme this year is Lights, Camera, Auction. So stop by the auction table in the fellowship hall when you have a chance to say hello and learn more. Auction volunteers would be delighted to speak with you. Thank you.
So I'm now going to ask all of everybody in uniform, including our adult leaders, to come up, stand somewhere around here. So to close off this meeting, we're going to sing Scout Vespers. This is a song that is traditionally sung after campouts or at the end of meetings, and it's kind of like a remembrance of our great times we have. Would you mind? The B right below middle C, B flat. Thank you. Ready? Softly falls the light of day as our campfire fades away. Silently each scout should ask, have I done my daily task? Have I kept my honor bright? Can I kill this sleep tonight? Have I done and have I dared everything to be prepared? Thank you.
Thank you all the scouts who participated today, and thank you all for being here. Go in peace.